Well, to turn its attention to racing, and the two big issues during the week is whether or not the Brisbane Winter Racing Carnival would in fact resume yesterday at Doomben after the incessant rain in Brisbane and Queensland last week. And of course, the news that a proposed World Series type racing circuit, a breakaway circuit, is starting to rear its head. Max Presnell joins us. Max, any merit in this?
I would say there's as much chance of World Series racing getting off the ground as Wayne Wilson playing halfback for the Broncos, you appearing in an X-rated movie with Sharon Stone, and me backing a winner. The reasons for that are that A, cost. How much would it cost to establish a breakaway racing circuit? B, where's the dividend going to be? Now, it's mentioned the vast goal that's to be earned in Asia. Well, Sky Channel's going to Asia in May 20, so that's covered there. Then you get to the point of licensing. The difficulty in getting a breakaway group licensed is just astronomical. I would say you'd have more hope of getting a license for another casino in all the states. So it's a pie-in-the-sky scheme. I think it was perhaps given some credibility when they mentioned Kerry Packer's name, World Series cricket, World Series racing. But I'd put this to you, David. You can run a World Series cricket match, you can find plenty of ovals. Where do you find racecourses for World Series racing?
Well, I haven't ruled out the Sharon Stone movie yet. Wayne, I don't know whether you ever played halfback or not, but what are your thoughts on it? Wayne Wilson joining us from Brisbane.
Hello, David. How are you? I think Max brought up a very interesting point there. Where does the dividend go? If any money's to be made out of this rebel racing group, where does the dividend go? I'm sure it won't go back into the racing industry. So for that reason alone, I'm sure the racing industry won't be supporting anything like this. And anyway, racing's not too bad at the moment in itself, is it? We're running for $1 million for the Stradbroke up here. Prize money is skyrocketing in Queensland, as it is Australia-wide. So what's wrong with racing at the moment? But the important question is, where are the profits going to go? Where will that dividend head?
Well, as you say, it's in pretty good state. You had a disruption to the carnival last week with the rain, but had a lot of interest whether or not it would get up and going again yesterday at Doomben. What were the conditions like?
Well, they were very heavy. I spoke to Darren Beedman after the last race. He won the last on Juggler. He said it was totally safe. There were no problems at all with the track. And in fact, he said every horse he rode yesterday handled the track beautifully. This is the Doomben Classic. Now, this horse is a noted wet track duffer, Kidman's Cove, and yet he got through it okay, although I think he's getting through the heavy going a lot better nowadays. That's Ravada and Quick Flick fighting it out at the moment. Kidman's Cove and Patonk on the outside. But Kidman's Cove just wore down Ravada and Quick Flick, and right on the line he got the better of Ravada. And I guess there was some deja vu there for Brian Guy, the trainer of Ravada, because he was the man preparing Kidman's Cove here in Brisbane, but he then returned to his original trainer, Mick Mayer, on the Sunshine Coast.
Well, of course, they're set to do battle again, Kidman's Cove and Ravada in the Qantas Cup at Eagle Farm, Max, in a couple of weeks' time. Yes, and
the outstanding factor, I think, between these two horses is they're so game, they're so courageous. It was magnificent to see the way, Wayne, that Ravada fought back, because he was engaged in a duel with Quick Flick, yet he was still getting to the line. Had they have gone much further, perhaps Ravada would have came again and scored. Certainly the most courageous performance of the day, I thought, Ravada.
Yes, he's a very tough horse, Max, isn't he? Like, Quick Flick had him beaten a couple of times in the straight, and yet he got the better of Quick Flick, just couldn't hold Kidman's Cove at the end. He's an underestimated racehorse. He's won almost $1 million in prize money. He's a multiple Group 1 winner, and yet he doesn't get the credence that he deserves, that horse Ravada. He'll be hard to beat in our Qantas Cup and also our Stradbroke Handicap, which is his next prime aim here in Brisbane.
Wayne, of course, the performance of Chief De Beers yesterday had some problems with Mick Dittman at pre-race, but the love affair with Doomben ended yesterday, and arguably his worst performance.
Yes, I would suggest that as well, David, but things were going so beautifully for Chief De Beers until he went into the gates and then burst through. That stirred him up, and then he over-raced after that. And you can see him there, Dittman slapping him up, and he's on the wrong leg. Suntain just pushed him out of the way as they straightened up, and Suntain has gone to the lead now and establishing a break over the Bolt. A quick return on the inside. Here's On Course down the outside with the white cap on, looming as a bit of a threat, but Suntain is going strongly to the line, and he scores a good win in the 10,000 for lucky jockey Michael Pelling, because I think Michael was about third choice, but he took full advantage of the opportunity that was there for him on Suntain, and he was able to get the prize. A couple of great runs in the race. On Course from a Stradbroke point of view, Loader from a Stradbroke point of view, and Persian Flyer from a Stradbroke point of view.
And of course, in the chairman's, Max, we had the great performance of Darren Beedman on the Gay Waterhouse trained juggler.
Yes, but let me, one word on encores. Should have won easily. Barrier 1 Sun Tane, Barrier 14 or 15 encores, covered more territory than Vasco da Gama.
And you
should have won the race and will win the Stradbroke.
And you were on it, were you?
Yes, unfortunately I didn't lay the odds on Juggler, but I think the merit in this performance, Wayne, is just the last furlong and a half that this horse produces. I'm not saying he's beating anything of merit, but by gee, the way he's lengthened there, he's a top-class racehorse, this bloke.
He's very, very good, Max. He was pitchforked into the race, really, with just 55.5 kilos on his back, but he showed his real class over the final stages. And Beedman, I told you before that I spoke with him after Juggler's win. He said he was kind to him as he possibly could be, because he realises he's got that big assignment coming up next week, the Durban Cup, in which he'll be taking on the Melbourne Cup winner, De Remus. Now, it's going to be interesting, the Durban Cup next week, because Juggler's got the ability to race close to the lead, whereas De Remus is going to get back. So tactics are going to be all important, and it's going to be a great battle between the two jockeys as well as the two great trainers and the two good horses. It looks as though it'll get down to a match between De Remus and Juggler next week.
Wayne, the key is tempo. The pace is on. De Remus is perhaps the one, but by gee, if they muddle in front, if they make it a sprint home, Juggler's going to keep him honest.
He's got great acceleration, Juggler, hasn't he? You saw that in the Doncaster, where he was looking everywhere for a run, and as soon as a gap appeared, he took full advantage of it. Couldn't quite get there, but took full advantage of it. And you're right there, the tempo of the race is all important. He's got the turn of foot, whereas the other horse needs the pace on and needs to get them down at the end rather than sprint at them at the end.
Well, from Brisbane and the Winter Carnival to the South Australian Derby yesterday in Adelaide, and you like Hurricane Storm, Max, but you had very little joy.
Yes, alas, David, that's the story of my racing life of late, but Hurricane Storm is poking along the fence, had every opportunity. Cheviot from North Victoria proved too solid, outstayed him. Until Hurricane Storm can learn to settle better early in his races, I don't think he's going to reach his true potential, but a good race, a track record, the best stayer on the day won, and a couple of promising performances behind the winner too.
Enough to go in your little black book?
Well, I've got Encores in the black book, I've got Juggler in the black book, and although Linesman was beaten at Rosehill yesterday, I still regard him as the horse to beat in the Adelaide Cup.
Wayne Wilson of Brisbane, thanks for joining us this morning. We look forward to your thoughts right throughout the Brisbane Winter Carnival. Let's hope that rain stays away and it's trouble-free from here to the end.
Thank you very much, David. It is beautiful in Brisbane today. We're heading for a big carnival at the Gold Coast. Hollandale Cup tomorrow is going to be a beauty, and the track is really on the up down there.
OK, Wayne Wilson joining us from Brisbane and our Sydney studios. We farewell, Max Presley. Look forward to your company again next week, Max.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you in that picture with Sharon Stone.
So am I, actually, Max. We'll take a break. It is Mother's Day, 1996. We'll be back with more in a moment.